You know, I'm looking through my lenses, a young kid's lenses. I want to say around 84. That's when I became aware of, and you know, I got my first rock put in my hand.
Oh wow!
You know what I mean? So
to sell or to smoke?
To sell.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just. Oh, you never know.
Real life.
It ain't real life. Just ain't real life. Real life street stars. You know what time it is. And before we even get started, man, for those that don't know, man, because you have such just a West Coast flair. Where are you from exactly? I didn't know the goddamn street and the house, the address.
Oh man, I was actually born in Dumas, Arkansas, 127 Pistachio Drive in Westview. I was born there and I was raised till I was 10 years old. And my mother relocated to Los Angeles and, you know, been there ever since.
Dumas, where's that near?
Dumas is in southeast Arkansas, about 45, 50 miles south of Pine Bluff.
That sounds like near where Bill Clinton from or something.
Bill Clinton, I don't know. He's from Little Rock somewhere. I don't know.
Okay. I'm just curious, for your mom to migrate to Los Angeles, what was that about, Arkansas to Los Angeles?
Oh man, it was just time for her. You know what I mean? All my mother's siblings had already made the migration in the 60s and the 70s to LA. And my mother was caring for my grandmother, who was in the twilight of her life. And you know, she was and she didn't want to go to California. Mm-hmm. She wanted to live the rest of her life in Arkansas. So my mother, being my grandmother's baby, you know, took care of my grandmother till the day she died. And once she died, and you know, between that and my mother and my father separating, it wasn't nothing else left in Arkansas for her.
Man, I have to say it like this, man. We're going to jump around this interview, man, but we have such a fan base that, of course, is, I'm going to say two things. You know, one of the greatest video games of all time, which is Grand Theft Auto 5. And, of course, you know, working with Aaron McGruder, you know, throughout Boondocks and, of course, on Black Jesus, you know, Adult Swim. You know, when our fans watch it, like, oh, that voice. And therefore, they know you. Do you get mistaken for your voice or how you look? Do people hear you and be like, say, you sound like...
Absolutely, all the time.
How does that work? How do they approach you? Like, bro, do you sound like...
You know, they'll hear me, you know, in public places, I'm taking care of business or whatever, just, you know, just in passing. You know, it just be different things, man, and everybody different, you know, but sometimes cats, I'll see them over there, and they'll be looking and analyzing, they'll look in their phone, you know, I see them over there doing all that. And some people just hear it and be like, hey, you Lamar. And you know, yeah. So, but I love it all. I love it all. I appreciate it all, man, because that's some real shit. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're talking about guys, it takes a lot for a man to come and give another man props on anything. So I appreciate it anytime. Cause you know, again, it took a lot for that to say, man, did you that? And when they do, man, it's all love, man. I appreciate it.
Let me ask you real quick. Do you know, like, or do you feel like you have probably one of the most iconic voices in video game history? Like, just in general, because voices ain't even been part of video games till like the late 90s. They start actually putting voices to video games. And you have like one of the most like iconic voices in all of like video game history, like period.
I mean, man, I'm more than humbled by it all. You know, that shit is dope as fuck. And I appreciate having an iconic voice, man, but it don't work in the bank. You know what I'm saying? You know, say, give me all the money.
Yeah, right.
It don't work. It don't work. If it worked in the bank, it'll be better.
God. All right, we're gonna come back to that, but for the most part, I got to get you growing up in on the West Coast. You said what part of LA you moved to?
All right, I moved to Inglewood. When my mom moved us out here, we moved to Inglewood. I went to school in Inglewood. I went to Highland Elementary, Crozier Junior High, and Inglewood High School before I went to California Youth Authorities. But I like to say that I grew up between Inglewood and South LA. And, you know, I spent a lot of my time in South LA, off Florence and Normandy. Yeah. And, you know, I grew up and went to school in Inglewood. So, you know what I'm saying? I like to say I got dual citizenship as far as the city goes. You know what I mean?
What year was this when you first got over there?
When I got to California?
Yeah.
83.
Okay. Oh, so you've been through it all. Okay. All right. Give us a take, because, you know, I myself born and raised Texas. And I remember Crips and Bloods coming to Arkansas first and then kind of hitting Texas hard. And it was, of course, you know, during the crack epidemic that kind of brought the gangs over as well. How was it for you? Because was the crack epidemic right there when you got there, or did it come after?
I'm sure it was there again when I got there, but it began to explode, I want to say about 84 in my eyes. You know what I'm getting? I'm looking through my lenses, a young kid's lenses. I want to say around 84, that's when I became aware of, and, you know, I got my first rock put in my hand.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? So...
to sell or to smoke?
To sell.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just... you never know.
To sell, though. You know, we was buying double ups, little kids and shit, buying double ups, because that's what, you know, that was going on. Now, you ask me how was it? I don't know. It's hard to explain, because as a child, that was your only experience. You know what I'm saying? I think as a child, growing up somewhere or doing something as a child, a lot of times it's your first or only experience, so you got nothing else to base it on. Yeah. That's life. It was just life. Now, in hindsight, looking back, yeah, it was some wild times, you know, just as it is now. But, you know.
Did it affect any of your family members, like hard?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have some family members that went to some great depths behind, you know, the life, and we had some family members that went to the top. You and my went to the top. You know what I'm saying?
We done like a couple interviews with Free Ricky Ross, and of course, he never really touches on the devastation it caused. He does touch on how much money he made, but the devastation for you as a young kid, like, did you notice it was getting bad in LA? Like, did you notice, like, who was working ain't working no more? Who kids are making millions now. Oh yeah, you definitely saw that begin, but again, that's when you look back. When you going through it, it's like you kind of going through it, but then I can look back now and be like, it was getting money, and you know what I'm saying? But, you know, so you definitely saw it though. You know, you can see the devastation, you can see the homes being broken, families being just ripped apart, man. You know, respect being lost everywhere, man. It was definitely a horrible time in that regard. When it comes to the gangs, the Crips and Bloods, you know, of course, Stanley Tookie Williams, one of the most famous Crips out there, of course. You see the rise of the Crips and Bloods really in LA. Did you partake in that scenario as far as gang activity? Did you pick a side? Were you affiliated back then?
Oh yeah, I definitely, I liked who I liked. I'll be the first to say at 51 years old, I ain't never been no gangbanger. I ain't been riding the car and taking fades and all that. I had my share of trouble though, don't get me wrong. I've been through some bullshit myself, but however, I wasn't no that was out there just like that. You know what I'm saying? Because going to school in Inglewood and spending my time away from school in South LA, that's oil and water, you know what I'm saying? So that kind of helped me be cool over. And I always was a clown. Yeah. I always a clown, so that kind of helped me too. All my cousins is Crips. I liken myself to that. I'm a Crip. You know what I'm saying? However, I went to school with all the Bloods, and the I went to school with knew that, but they also knew I wasn't no like that, and I ain't got no problem saying it. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't no like that, but I know plenty of them. And yeah, in LA, man, when you grow up somewhere, it's like this. I don't care what nobody say. You're gonna pick a side. Yeah. It's like if you grow up somewhere, even if you don't partake in the field trips and the lessons that the gang partakes in, you definitely gonna pick a side. You definitely gonna like somebody. You definitely gonna favor somebody, and somebody gonna favor you. And it's just no different for me. Definitely.
I had to ask, was it as bad as the movies portrayed, or did you see anything as bad as Colors, Boys?
Absolutely, absolutely. Man, look here, man. When you jumped in that lane, and you know, again, I did my jail time, and I feel like I was a fly on the wall. I'm checking out all this shit, man. When you jump in that life, you know, it's definitely tragic. You know what I'm saying? But I just was blessed to be able to be friends with all them niggas.
Right. I'm cool with the cool kids.
I'm friends with all them niggas. You know what I'm saying? So that helped me. You know, I was always able to get close enough to shit. You know, I like to say, don't get burned. I got sins, but I didn't get burned. You know what I mean? I got sins. I did my little, you know, bullshit here and there. The what they call it, the rites of passage for any young man growing up in that type of environment. It's a certain type of rites of passage. So I indeed went through my rites of passage. However, I was cool enough to make it past.
How big was hip hop in LA culture? And of course, the NWA, their wave when they came in. For you, how old were you when NWA was like at their height?
At their height?
Yeah, like right,
Oh, at their height, I don't want to say, but I was like, when I first heard of NWA, for me, it had to be like 85.
Okay. I say 88, probably 88 was their like.
88 was when it was like,
Ooh, so you heard them when they was first just bubbling and shit.
When they was just, again, the if I recall correctly, 85, 86, you started hearing rumblings about, a cat named Eazy-E.
Yeah.
Coming out of Compton. If I'm not mistaken, I smoked so much weed, dog. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That nigga was little, my nigga. It was I heard the shit.
Yeah. Who was your supplier back then? God damn, I smoked. Who'd you?
D?
Oh, shout out D in the business. Nah, so let me ask you, because again, LA has such an rich history in which the LA riots, that kick off.
Yeah.
Are you in LA at this time? Are you around? Are you in the mix?
I was in jail, but all 4 of them niggas is my friends. I just talked to Damian Football Williams about 3 weeks ago. All 4 of them niggas my friends.
Wow. Did you understand exactly what, Rodney King, boom, cops get off and they gonna, you felt even in jail?
Yeah.
This shit about to get fucked up.
Absolutely, I felt it. When that shit was going down, I remember it. We was in the day room watching TV and they cut the program or whatever and the news came on. They was just showing flame and fire and glass breaking and they showed Florence and Normandie. I was like, I know that corner. And I was just looking and just captivated by what was going on the screen. But that's when staff say, hey man, turn the TV off, everybody, we're gonna lock y'all down. So
if you was out and you've seen all the shoplifting going on, what would have been your go-to? Like, I'm gonna go get me a refrigerator, bro. I need that TV.
I probably would have hit Western Surplus and got some guns.
Oh.
Or I probably would have hit a jewelry store or something.
Smart man. I seen niggas walk with heavy ass TVs. I'm like, I don't know.
I mean, hey, you know what? That's just speculation. I wasn't there. I ain't gonna lie, man. I probably had me a couple TVs too. Fatbacks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? About a trunk full of Fatbacks TV, or maybe it ain't even a whole trunk full. It's only one in that motherfucker. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'll be, jewelry.
And again, of course, Rodney King, that happens. LA riots happen. And then I think right after that, of course, a year or so later, of course, you have the trial of the century.
OJ.
What are your thoughts when you seen OJ in that Bronco riding?
Keep going, nigga. Smash, nigga.
Were you surprised he went to the house? Like, nigga went home like a...
Nah, I wouldn't. Don't none of that shit them niggas do surprise me, man. When you start fucking with these Caucasoids, man, you liable to do anything, man. You know what I mean? Ain't no telling. You in a different level there, you know what I'm saying? So ain't no telling what them guys do, man.